Hello and welcome to another special segment here on Turkish football. I'm your host Ozan Günçe. Alongside me is pundit Furkan Aydın, and we're hosting a very exciting guest on our show today. It's Hakan Anaz, former international referee, current AFC and FIFA assessor. Hakan Hocam, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ozan, and thank you, Furkan, all the guys at this show. So it's great to be here.
Why don't you just give us a rundown and our viewers a rundown of who you are, what you've done as a referee, and some of your, highlights in your career.
From a personal background, I'm from Karamürsel, from Kocaeli, from Turkey. My parents migrated to Australia in 1968. I was born in 1969. We were the first migrants of Turkish descent into Melbourne in December '68. I started playing football at a very, very young age. I played for a number of teams, Faulkner, but more importantly, I played for Mentone, which is the old Turkish team. I played for Anadolu Sport, or Holland Park, if you want to call it that. And then at around the age of 22, 23, I gave up my football career and had a friend of mine, luckily enough, who said to me, Hakan, do refereeing, it's easy. You do games on the weekend, you get paid, it's no headache. I thought, okay, I'll try this. So we had the old grade systems back then. So I was a grade 3 referee, which is the lowest that you could be. I went straight to Premier League in Victoria within 3 years, which was unheard of. Luckily, I had very good mentors and people who believed in me. And from there, I set my own goals and targets. And I said, look, I want to go to the old NSL, which is now the A League. After I achieved that, I went on to wanted to get my FIFA badge. So I got my FIFA badge as an assistant referee in 2005. Then new targets was 2008, was as an elite AFC assistant referee. After 2008, I said, well, I want to become a World Cup referee, assistant referee. So the target was 2014, and we started a process probably around 2010 with the team. We became candidates in 2012, and basically the culmination of that was 2014 representing Australia at the Brazil World Cup, FIFA World Cup. We had 3 games. We were the first ever Australian trio to do past a group stage. So we did a round of 16, which was an absolutely awesome experience.
You touched on your World Cup experience. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people wanting to know more about what that World Cup experience involved.
We originally had 52 trios, which was whittled down to 25. So you had a less than 50% chance of going to a World Cup. And it was a process whereby FIFA looked at you for 2 or 3 years. It was called the Candidates Program. And we were put through a number of tests both on the field and fitness tests. So make it clear, you don't just get given a World Cup. They don't just say, oh, yes, we will choose you. You need to earn it. And it was basically 52 people fighting for 25 positions. And we fought really, really hard. And we had some highs. We had mainly highs, but we also had some lows as well. And this is where the mental toughness came in for us. We were very, very professional. I think as a trio, to get to that stage was testament to our effort, our belief, our perseverance. We wouldn't take no for an answer. So that was fantastic. I remember it was in January 2014 when the announcement was going to come from FIFA as to who of the 52 trios were going to be selected for Brazil. And I remember I was at home the day before. I actually had an A-League game with the other officials. And I came home and saying to me, Harks, Hakan, we're not going to go. Don't get your hopes up high. So I came home, I did a recovery session. Again, recovery for players is a must, but also for referees is also a must. I came back home, did my recovery, had my shower, and then the phone started ringing. And I'm thinking, what's this? So I answered, and it was Ben Williams, who was the central referee, and he said to me, "Harks, what are you doing in June, July?" So nothing. Why? Because we're going to the World Cup, and it was this emotion. I can tell you this now. It was this emotion of we finally got there. 3 years, really 20 years of work. You know, we went through tears, we went through highs, we went through lows, and to finally know that our destiny was in our own hands was a fantastic experience. So we still had to do a fitness test. Believe it or not, referees still have to do a fitness test to get to the World Cup. So we had to do that. We needed to be professional. We needed to tick all the boxes, all of that. But the realization for me came when I was in the room in Brazil, and we had rows of referees all on their desks, you know, their name tags there. And I had a look around, and I then said to myself, you know, we deserve to be here. We had the best referees in the world. We had guys like Howard Webb, Cüneyt, Çakır, all these top world-class referees, and we were there, and I said, we deserve to be here. Now, when we got chosen as a trio for the World Cup Brazil, we knew we had one game, and this is all you had. You had one game. So we had one game to do really well, and we did well. And then we got a second game, and we did really well in that. And then we got a third game. So the experience was fantastic. We held our heads up high. You know, guys come up to us and said, "You guys were fantastic. Really did really well." And having also the Turkish trio there as well was fantastic. I was very close to them. I still see them. I still speak to them, Cüneyt, Bahattin, and Tarık Ongun. So very close to them. But it was a fantastic experience. I think one of the things that got said to us about that World Cup experience was, you know, World Cups come out every 4 years. You know, you had one in Russia, you're going to have one in Qatar. But having one at really the home or the birthplace of football, which is Brazil, is very special. And you know, going to Christ the Redeemer, Cotabato, going to Copacabana, going to Ipanema, all of these are just fantastic experiences, and it was really a fantastic experience. Going out onto your first game, you know, full crowd, and then you come off and you say, you gave it your all. I represented my country, my people as best I could, and to be given 3 games was an absolute bonus.
Yeah, awesome. And I think in all of that, there was also not only a group stage game, but a game in the latter stages of the tournament.
Yeah, there was around the 16. So what happened was we did our second game, and we went to Cotabato, which is the Christ the Redeemer, the big statue. And FIFA said to us, how are you feeling? And out of all the 3 guys, I felt the best. And I was the oldest, but I looked after myself. And the guys are coming up to us and they're saying, you know, good, you're feeling good, you know, it's fantastic, be ready, and this and that. And so like we reading between the lines, is that they're saying to us, you're going to be appointed for a 3rd game. And there was really only one game that we could do, Costa Rica versus Greece. And when we went back to headquarters, they announced the appointments, and sure enough, that was the game that we had. And we said, okay, game on. We need to go. We need to prepare physically, mentally, all of that. And it was a fantastic experience. I can tell you, the losing team, which was Greece, the captain come up to us after the game and said, thank you guys. No one's talking about you guys. We want to thank you. And it was his last game, by the way. And he said to us, you guys are awesome. And this is from the losing team. And we walked off really, really proud. First time a Australian trio have done a knockout game at a World Cup. So before that was only group games. We were extremely happy with that appointment. And it was a great experience, really.
So just going back to, I guess, the earlier days, I know you touched on it a little bit, Hakan, but just in terms of grassroots, when you commenced here in Australia refereeing, how was that for you? Was there a point in at least the grassroots level where you thought, okay, this is a little different to what I assumed before starting to referee? How was that sort of first, I guess, baby steps in your career?
It's a funny story because my first ever game was as a linesman or as an assistant referee at North Coburg, believe it or not. And
Okay.
I was nervous. Wow. It was their senior team. And so I'm doing my signals and I speak to the referee who was a referee at that game. And he said, geez, you come a long way in that time between 94 and 2014. So the grassroots for me, I think that was the start of the journey. And then it kept on building. And it's one of the things that all referees need to understand is it starts somewhere. And I think a lot of people think refereeing is not for me if you never try it. I mean, I was one that never thought, refereeing would be for me. I got involved. I loved it. There were times when it was difficult because as referees, I have a personal value system whereby I think always of being fair. Okay, I understand. Sometimes people we can make decisions that some people don't like, but without fear or favour. And I'll tell you, one time, this is when I was a senior referee. My son used to play juniors, and some of the parents used to go out and referee because there was no referees assigned. We're talking about under 8s, under 9s, and this is more or less grassroots. And I remember they asked me to referee, and they didn't know I was a referee. I said, "Oh, are you sure? What happens if I make a mistake or something?" And I said, "No, that's okay, no problems. It's only under 8s, under 9s." So I did it. And I gave decisions against my son's team, which was correct, and against the other team as well, which was correct. And to have the opposing team parents come up to me and said, "You know what, ref? You were really, really fair. Really, really fair. You called it both ways. Thank you." They shook my hand. That's the greatest compliment I can get as a referee. When do we make mistakes? Absolutely. There is no referee that has not made a mistake. You can see even Collina. Collina made some big mistakes as well, but we learn from them. And I've made my mistakes, absolutely. Grassroots, this is what they're all for. Players miss penalties, juniors miss open goals, referees make incorrect decisions, but we learn from them. And we go into a self-analysis situation where we need to look at it and say, well, why did I make the wrong decision? And the pressure gets, as you start off at grassroots and you get higher and higher, the pressure gets more and more. But then I think a lot of the time your personality has got to come into it as well. And I think, thank God, at the more higher levels, at the Premier League and National League, A-League level, a lot of the players knew me. They understood how serious I took this, and they respected that. So that was probably a highlight for me as well.
That's probably an important element, the relationship with the players. And I think a sense of nostalgia there between your first game or one of your first games in that under-8 match where you had the opposing players coming, or the parents at least, saying, well done, great game, to that very last match in 2014 World Cup. You're getting the same feedback from a player who's retiring. I think that tells something about your consistent career that you've had. So, it says a lot, definitely.
If someone said to me when I first started refereeing, that I would go to the World Cup, I would think they were crazy. And a friend of mine said, why do you train for only 1 hour, Hakan? He was a referee as well. Imagine you're in the 5th minute of the game and a goal that's been scored, offside goal, and I'm the assistant. What do? I've got 85 minutes left to go. Your Collinas, your Cüneyt Çakırs, when they first started refereeing to when they finished, it's completely different.